We're gonna start by just quieting the mind and body. So I invite you to take a seat or lay down, get comfortable, maybe get those last bit of wiggles out. You might wanna sit on a yoga block if you're sitting on the floor. But I invite you to close your eyes or gently have a gaze looking somewhere, whatever feels good in your body today. And we're gonna start by taking big inhales in the belly, seeing if we can let our body know it's a safe place right now to relax and restore. So right now I'm just trying to get that belly to fill up with air on the inhale, and on the exhale, release. Now I'm gonna ask you to bring your attention to that forehead area in your body. Think about that forehead. The next time you bring in an inhale, see if you can send that inhale to that forehead, giving it the power to, on the exhale, release any holding in that forehead. Now bring your attention to your eyes and your eyelids. Inhale, send that breath to the eyes and the eyelids. On the exhale, let the eyes and the eyelids release anything they're holding. Let's take our teeth a little bit apart. Rest your tongue on the base of your mouth. And then inhale, send that breath to those cheeks and that jaw, releasing any clenching. Let's bring our attention to the front of the throat. You're in a place right now where you're fully understood, so you can relax the throat. Inhale, send that breath to your throat. On the exhale, allow that throat to soften. Let's bring our attention to our heart center. Inhale, open up those collarbones wide. On the exhale, allow them to soften and release anything they're holding. Let's bring our attention to the navel, the abdomen area. Inhale, send that breath to that area. On the exhale, allow it to soften and release. Let's bring our attention to our pelvic bowl. Inhale, send your breath there. On the exhale, allow it to soften and release. Let's bring our attention to our right leg. Start at the hip and think about going down through the knee, through the ankle, through the foot, through the toes. Inhale, send that breath just to that right leg. On the exhale, allow it to soften and release all holding, becoming almost limp on the floor. Bring our attention to that left leg. Start at the hip. Think about going down through the knee, through the ankle, through the foot, through the toes. Inhale, send your breath to that left leg. Allow it to become heavy and almost limp, releasing all holding, releasing all tension. Let's bring our attention to the glute area. Inhale, send the breath to those glutes. On the exhale, allow it to become heavy, almost like an outlet prong plugging into the earth, regrounding. Let's think about your lower back. We hold a lot of emotions here sometimes. Thinking about the left and the right side of the lower back. Inhale, send your breath there. On the exhale, release all holding from the lower back. Now I want you to think about and visualize your vertebrae in your spine. Go up the spine. Inhale, send the breath to the vertebrae, and on the exhale, allow the vertebrae to release, whether it's old stories, old emotions, old stress. Go up the spine with each inhale and with each exhale. Now let's think about our shoulder blades, our left and our right. Let's pull the shoulders up to our ears with an inhale, and on the exhale, push them down and then push them back, like you're hanging them on coat hooks behind you. Inhale, send the breath again to the shoulder blades. On the exhale, allow them to soften anything they're holding that they no longer need to carry. Let's think about this right arm. So let's start at the shoulder, work down through the elbow, through the wrist, through the fingers. Inhale, send the breath to that right arm. On the exhale, Allow it to become limp, relaxing all holding. Let's bring our attention to the other arm. Start at the shoulder, go down through the elbow, through the wrist, through the fingertips. Inhale, send the breath to that entire arm. On the exhale, allow it to release anything it's holding. Let's bring our attention to the back of the neck. Inhale, send your breath there. On the exhale, allow it to soften. And now bringing your attention to the back of the head. Inhale, send your breath there. On the exhale, allow it to soften. Think about just the right side of the face. So maybe that right temple, that right ear, and that right jaw. Inhale, send your breath there. On the exhale, allow the right side of your face to relax. Let's think about the left side of your face. So we're going to think about that left temple, that left ear, and that left jaw. Inhale, send your breath here. On the exhale, allow it to soften. Now come up to the crown, the top of your head. Inhale, send your breath there. On the exhale, allow that crown to melt down towards your body. And now keep taking some deep breaths. Bring in relaxation to wherever it needs to go in your body. You don't have to think about it. Your body knows. Trust its wisdom. With each exhale, whatever needs to be released is releasing. Now we're ready to start our chakra affirmations, where we're going to decide how we want to define and refine and rebalance our chakras. So I want you to keep taking deep breaths and see if you can check in with that you that's always been there since you were born, before the world got noisy and decided to define you or tell you who or what to be. And from that perspective, I want you to bring your attention to your root, the base of the spine. This is where we can feel safe, secure, supported. When it comes to being those things, and you say, I am, what do you want to come next? Check in with your mind and body. Now I'm going to say I am 3 times, and you get to say in your mind or out loud what comes next when you say I am. Join me. I am. I am. I am. Let's move up to the abdomen. We're below the belly button. This is our sacral chakra area. It's where we feel emotions, where we're creative, where we can feel pleasure. When you decide how you want to feel, what comes next after you say, I feel? Decide for yourself. Now I'm going to say, I feel 3 times. Say what comes next for you. I feel. I feel. I feel. We're going to come above our belly button. This is our solar plexus chakra. It's where we know we're capable, where we know we can do hard things, where we know we can get the job done if we need to. When you say I do, when it comes to being capable, what comes next for you? Check in with your body. Now I'm going to say I do 3 times. You get to say and decide what comes next for you. I do. I do. I do. Let's move up to our heart chakra, the center of our chest, the place where we know we're free to love and be loved, receiving love, giving love. When you say, I love, what comes next for you? Decide for yourself. Now I'm going to say, I love 3 times. You say what comes next. I love. I love. I love. Moving up to the throat chakra, the place where we know we can express ourselves, that we can be understood, where we feel safe to speak. When you say, I speak, what comes next for you? I'm going to say, I speak. You say what that is for you, either out loud or in your mind. I speak. I speak. I speak. Coming up to the center of your forehead. In yoga, we call this the third eye. It's our intuition center, where we can trust our intuition and know that we see the world clearly. When it comes to the world and trusting your intuition and what you see, what comes next when you say, I see? Decide for yourself now. I'm going to say, I see 3 times. You say what that is for you. I see. I see. I see. Lastly, come up to the crown chakra, the top of your head, the place where we know we're connected to the community, to something greater than ourselves. When it comes to being connected, what do you say to yourself when you say, I know? Check in with yourself now. I'm going to say, I know. You decide for yourself what comes next for you. I know. I know. I know. Let's take a few more deep breaths, inhaling, sending that inhale anywhere it needs to go in the body. And feel like with the exhale, anything that doesn't resonate with what you've decided for yourself in your chakras should be, let your body let it go through the exhale. And then check in with your mind and body how you feel right now. Maybe take a mental picture, knowing you can guide yourself here at any time. We just guided each other there. You can take it with you after the video's over. And maybe if something throughout your day or evening takes you away from how you want to feel, see, love, speak, either you don't engage or you come back to how you want to be as soon as possible. I invite you to open your eyes if you had them closed. Thank you for joining me.